All right, we live. Hello, everybody. I'm going to turn down the air just a little bit for us before we get rolling here.
I'm going to write this down. Thank you, Michael.
Yep, anytime. All right. We'll get started. There'll be some people get online here in a sec. You know, the last class we did, we had 97 views.
Wow. It's good for the, you know, yeah, see, the thing about it is, it's always a percentage, you know, and the percentage is, you know, you're good to get 25%.
Oh, I know. If you get thirds.
Or 30%, but see, you're running, that's a good 33%. That's a good third of it that's participating.
Hello, everybody.
And that's a good percentage. That just tells you you got the right group.
Yeah.
You got the right people in the group.
Yep. Hello, everybody here. Welcome. All right, let's get right into it, guys. Today is going to be a very profound class. We are going to bounce off of this, but we are going to take a huge tangent because without understanding Nakash, which this goes into, without understanding the serpent Nakash, there's no sense in reading about the Nakash if you don't know what is going on. So we're going to finish up a little bit of what we did last week, because I found some more stuff on Nadav and Avihu that we have to read. It's going to blow you away. And then I'm going to read. I'm writing a book, and I'm going to go over some of the book with y'all. It's not even a chapter. It's just going to be a few pages maybe of it, and just kind of see what y'all think that it's going to go in the book. So I don't know when I'm going to have the book done or when I'm going to have it finished. I gave my timeline of 10 years, but it'll be done before then.
I said that 10 years ago for mine.
But you know, actually, I'm caught up on writing. I don't, other than this class and the thing I'm going to write about this class when we do it, I'm caught up. So let's say our prayers here and we'll get rocking. Today we get to study Torah for the sake of heaven, for the sake of Israel and all of Jerusalem. We'd like to give the merit of our study and the merit of our Torah to Stephen King, Abraham Ben Moshe Gilla, Ed Stribling, Linda Flora, Carl Lucerio, Brandon Walsh, Raymond Rosentrader, Brooke Gibson, Paul Navarez, Garrett Matlich, Jordan Matlich, the Patients of Texas Oncology, Rita Wilson, Betty Munkuski, Lola, daughters Justin Lakeisha Neal, Berea One Staff, Elise Hagar, Nadine Freeman, Logan Willis, Billy Hope, Charles David, Rosa Hollander, Christopher Woodurka, Noel Cardoza, David Douglas, Vicki McLean, Tom and Karen Maitland, Sandra Hayes, Carol Tinkle, Larry Langberg, Juliette Navarez, Blake Highland, Leela Briscoe, Sam Peake, Yehuda Ben Matai Leah, James London, David Jenkins, Jake Suarez, Bobby Williams Sr., Sally Talamontes, the Rogers family, Damian Washington, Carol Scott, Rabbi Richmond, Maurice Greenwood, Gracie Bill Linder, Brandy Boots, Amanda Elliott, Frank Pollard, Carol's family, Baby Denard, Michelle Magnuson, Jenna Marie, Kimberly Brown, Debbie January, Kim Lively, Crespin Rodriguez, Sandra Hirth, Virgil Williams, Brad Mace, Jocelyn Oliver Nickerson, Jerry Matlins, Dylan Tinkle, Amber Murchis, Simpkin Ben Abraham and family, Celinda Sheffields, Luis Gutierrez and family, Aaron Price, Jareth Carroll, Sonia Kinzer, Kathy John, John Mike Christopher Ramos, Jean Son of Jock Coates, Nellie Warlick, Tahila Buello, Miranda Rosas, Jim Barfield and family, Naomi Batsimka, Terry King, Ronald Whitlow, Kathleen Graham Walsh, Brandon's family, Mila Rose, Monica Johnson, Ed and Dottie Garrison, Moshe Solovechek, Donna Marie, Farrar Sajid, Benson Ewing, Darlene Yautz, Debbie Henson, Anita Jones, Jessica Ross, Doug Eldridge, Brandon Welch, Phoebe Bridges, Salvador Gutierrez and family, Jacob Ben Simca, Max Wagner, son of Marcy Wagner, Mark Madlich, Emily Baktova, Naeem Bat Miriam, Jackie Cup, Carla Manzanares, Beth Carmen, James Rogers, Alton Tillman, Elvia Rosas, and that's going to round it out. And I'd like to thank the Craig family, Wayne and Lisa, for sending me this beautiful banner. I'll try to show you if I don't break my phone out of this deal. I have to be real careful. that we have put up in our room now. Our flag banner. I appreciate that, guys. Came in the mail today and we got it hung. So we're going to call this, we're going to call it Innerspace 19 because it's connected with Innerspace. But
what page are we on?
We are
19?
on page 88 in Innerspace. Oh, I turned that off. I need to turn that on. Ruler of the universe and master of all masters, Father of mercy and forgiveness, we thank you, our God and the God of our fathers, by bowing down and kneeling, that you brought us closer to your Torah and your holy work, and that you enable us to take part in the secrets of your holy Torah. How worthy are we that you grant us with such a big favor, that you would the reason that you would forgive and acquit all of our sins is the reason we plead before you, that you would not bring separation between you and us. May it be your will before you, our God and the God of our fathers, that you would awaken and prepare our hearts to love and revere you. May you listen to our utterances and open our closed heart to the hidden studies of your Torah. And may our study be pleasant before your place of honor as aroma of sweet incense. And may you emanate to us light from the source of our soul to all of our being. And may the sparks of your holy servants, through which you revealed your wisdom to the world, shine. May their merit and the merit of their fathers and the merit of their Torah and holiness support us, so we shall not stumble through our study, and by their merit enlighten our eyes in our learning, as stated by King David, the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes so that I will see wonders from your Torah, because from his mouth God gives wisdom and understanding. May the utterance of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, God, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
All righty, gang. I don't think our air came on.
Yeah.
Freeze you out. Okay, last week, in Innerspace 19 here, we studied about the spices and Nadav and Avihu going in, right? And then it took us into Adam and Eve with the tohu and all of that, and the knowing good and evil. And the big kasha question was, does God know good and evil? And if so, then, and God wants us to be like him, then shouldn't we know good and evil? So that's the huge kasha question.
Exactly.
We resolved that. And then in page 88, we got down here to the second paragraph, and it says, according to the serpent. The same has to apply here. Therefore, he therefore argued that since God himself was the creator of evil, he therefore knew good and evil. All right? So, we are not, that's as far as we're going with the serpent. Because we have to figure that out. He has a good kasha question, does he not? Mm-hmm. You created, you are light and you created darkness. So if you created darkness, don't you know darkness? And what's the resolution? Knowing is eating, and eating is union. And is God in union with evil? No. We have to not use the term knowing in place of understand it. Does God understand it? Absolutely. That's why he wrote negative commandments. Mm-hmm. He understands what it does. He has the wisdom of it and the understanding of it. Does he have knowledge of it? Per se, but knowledge means union. Is he in union with it? No. Right. So we have to hold the word, does he know, pretty loose. All right? Now.
Right, because it's Keter, and Keter is something more than Bina.
Yeah, that's right. So.
It's not, but it's not less, it's not void of Bina.
Here is, I'm going to go back just a little bit to Nadav and Avihu. All right, and we're going to learn something truly profound today about Nadav and Avihu. Okay? This is out of the Ari Sefer Halikutim, or the Gate of Verses, out of the chapter in Akrimot, regarding the sons of Aaron, regarding Nadav and Abihu. The three letters of the name of Nadav is Ben Dalet. Okay? Which means the son of four. Dalet is four. They are the sons of four. Now there's just two of them. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, so follow me here. What happens, thanks, son? Mm-hmm. What happens when we get our four? Things come in four. We discussed that for class. And what did we say that was?
Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey.
Okay? Sons of Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Okay?
Like a motorcycle group.
Right. So, it's called Shem Ben Dalet. The name of Ben, what is Shem? Shem, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, Ben Dalet. Okay? Their name is a formula, as everything in Torah. All right? This is the name of the four. This is corresponding to the four sons in the Passover Haggadah. Adam Harishon is one, and the three sons in the Haggadah. One is the good son, one is the son that questions everything, and one is right. These are paralleling those kids and the four, the three and plus Adam, the four. Okay, sons of Haviyah. All of them are contained in Nadav and Abihu. Both of them are a singularity, because we know Netzach and Hod are two halves of one thing. So Nadav and Abihu are contained in one singularity. How do we know? They did not have wives. They are in their singularity. The two that became one. All right? The letters Nadav, the one who has four sons, which are the four sons that we are talking about? Adam has four sons. How do we know? Cain, Abel, and Seth. Those are the three sons of the Haggadah. And Nadav and Abihu, the two that are one. Okay? Because Avihu is broken up into Avi, who? From the father. From Abba. From Avi. Father is called Avi or Abba, right? So these two things are from the father. That puts them on a whole new level. That which Adam has affected, what Adam affected, these two also affected. Adam got caught with strange fire, right? So to speak. Nadav and Abihu got caught with strange fire. So it says in the Peshat. But let's see a little further. That which Adam caused, they did the same. This is called the pagam. Pagam is a blemish. It was with the Aish Zara, the alien fire, the foreign woman. This is nothing that they are doing. Nothing that they are doing is new. All right. This has been a formula that has been going on. The other woman is called Hava Rishona, Lilith, that had intercourse with Adam before Hava. And we're gonna go through that entire thing today with the Nakash so everybody understands it. We're going to dice it up, because without understanding that, you can't understand Nadav and Abihu. All right? And Adam and Noah and Moses and everybody else, and Lot and his daughters, yada, yada, yada. Because Adam said, this time I will call her woman. The last time, that was Hava Rishona. That was the Lilith. But this time I will call her woman. All right, that's the Hava aspect. The sages say that Adam reversed his circumcision, meaning that he had zivug, or union, with the first Hava, because he went into the Klippa, which gave birth to demons and spirits. This is called Aish Zara. It's gonna get thick. Then do the nitty gritty. Adam was going into 4D Klippa, 4D Lilith, to fix the Aish Zara, to fix it. When they saw, they looked, so Nadav and Abihu were doing the same thing. They were going to go into 4D to fix it. But in 3D, when they're coming in through 3D, you have to come in through Lilith. Lilith is the 3D. Hava, Eve, is the 4D. So they have to come in through that side to fix it. The Arizal said, do not say that they brought Aish Zara. They didn't. They brought incense, the thing that repels the Aish Zara. Because they are direct sons of Adam, not Aaron. They are part of the whole story of Adam and Lilith, which is called fire. When a couple gets married, what they have, you have the Aish and the Aisha, the man and the woman, and they say if you put the Yud and the Hey, Yah, if you put Yud Hey in the marriage, in the house, if the house is run Torah with a Shem, then that brings holy fire. If not, if it's not run Torah, then it brings the Aish Zara, the other woman, fire. Okay? So Nadav and Avihu returned to do this all over again, to try to fix it. Okay? They're twins. They didn't get married because they are called Trey, Pagay, Gufa, two halves of one thing. They are literally both sides of her Yesod. They are the vulva. They are from that root. And that is their root. They are going in to absolutely burn it out. That's their mission. And they know it. Just like Adam knew it. What's our Havamina? What's our Kasha? What are they going to go get? What are they going to go fix? Right? Why risk your life? They are going to take the union of Lilith and turn it to Leah in her Yesod. They are going to turn it inside out. Turn what inside out? The fabric of creation. As we talked about before class, something's on the outside is supposed to be on the inside, and they've got to turn it inside out. This is what they were going to go do. Yet Nadav and Avihu iterated the same thing on the Peshat level that Adam did. So did they fail? Yet they were Adam. There was no one like them in their generation. Not even Moses or Aaron. Why? Because they're sons of Adam. Different deal. The Ishazara, the holy fire, was correct. What they were going to do was the correct thing. Yet the Hitzonim, the Klipa, the other side, the evil forces, are present because they got to go through them. And when they were stimulating the holy, it fired that up too. Yeah. Okay? Let's just put it like that. And it got a hold of it. The passion that they brought needed to be increased, which is the whole Lilith part. But this was to bring the totality of Tikkun. Torah says if they would have completed their mission, so to speak, the Tikkun of the world would be done. It would have been over right then. That's Mashiach in the game story. Game, set, and match done. And we know they're fixing this because of Giannis and Yambris at the Golden Calf. They opened the gate of the Lilith gate. Right? So the sages bring 12 views on the explanation of why Nadav and Avihu fell. 12 is the permutation of Havayah. Guess how many they bring on why Adam fell? 12. The same, pretty much the same. Even though they're not the same 12 things saying, it's the same actions that they're saying. And Hava squeezed the grapes and fed them to Adam. So we're going to, in a minute, we're going to learn what that really, really, really means. Okay? But the good wine gladdens the heart of God and man, where the strange wine or the bitter wine or the other wine is the other woman, the Lilith, the strange fire. Whether you use strange fire or bad wine or the dregs of the wine, that always points to that side of Guru.
Dark side of the force.
The dark side of the force, that's right. Because wine is with Elohim. This wine is also the secret. The secret of the matter is going to lie in the wine. Because sod is Gematria 70. Wine is Gematria 70. And if Adam is drinking wine, I just gave you the answer. If Adam is drinking wine, and wine is the secret, and Nadav and Avihu got caught in the wine, Noah got caught in the wine, and if the wine is the 70, and that is the secret, why did Adam drink it? Tell me the answer.
It is the secret.
Hmm?
It is the secret.
What is the 70?
It's the nations.
Oh, Adam was going in to get the 70 nations. Moses was going in to get the 70 nations. Nadav and Abihu was going in to get the 70 nations. Noah was going in to get the 70 nations. Without these men doing what they did, we wouldn't be here who we are today. We are the secret of the result of their mission completed. The only way God had to create something beyond himself so that he could see something new about himself. So he did. He contracted the Simpson. He contracted the Simpson. This is something that's not this. Correct? This is Israel. This ain't. Israel is God's extension. The Jews, the land of Israel, is God's extension. God has will. Does God have free choice? God does not live outside of the boundaries of the Torah. He doesn't know evil. He doesn't deal with it. He doesn't make union with it. He doesn't get over there in the free choice. God is always right. The Jews don't live in a world of free choice. They live in the world of command. You do this. Here is what you do. If you don't do this, period, these nations will destroy you. These nations will kill you. These nations will take your money, take your gold, take your temple. They will take your people. They will kill thousands and millions of them because you can't live in a world of free choice. You live in the world of my will because you are extension of me. So Israel and God are the same thing. So what is outside of God? Goyim.
70 nations.
If this is light, this is darkness. If this is the aleph, this is the ayin. If this is the or pinimi, the inner light, this is the or makif, the outer light. If this is light, this is dark. You see the parallel. What is Adam going to do? Adam is the Havayah. Going to go get his kids? What father wouldn't do it? This is Avihu from the father. What is he doing? He's going to go get his kids that he made. What was Moses doing? Going to go get his kids that he made. What was Noah doing? Going to go get his kids that he made. Got drunk on wine. Was naked. And they were naked and not ashamed in the garden. You see, the Gerim are the thing that God made outside himself. And now he's trying to get his outside to his inside. He has gone beyond himself. He's got himself in a knot. This is the secret of conversion. It's converting that to that. How do you make something that's not a Jew into something that is a Jew? It's impossible. But he does it anyway. And we're going to get into how and why and what the serpent did. And Nadab and Avihu are part of the process. Okay? Now, Adam was chote. He fell, he missed. Why? Listen to what the Ari says. Because he wanted to bring all the nations under the wings of the Shekhinah. Adam fell because of us. Not because he did something wrong. He fell, he went pearl diving. We fell overboard, out of the boat, and he went to get us. That was the fall. Jumping off the boat is a long way down to the water. This is what caused him all the evil and brought all the exiles upon the Jewish people. Was Adam going to get the 70 nations to bring under the wings of the Shekhinah. And then Re goes on. And also Moshe stumbled in the desert regarding this. Therefore, he died in the desert. And King Solomon also was chote by bringing in the Gerim. We studied all the Gerim that he made. The Aish Zara is the Sod of Gerim. Profound, huh? Because Gerim are fire. That which Lilith took from Adam. His 70. This is what she took. Us. These are called the dregs of the wine. The Gerim / Goyim are the dregs of the wine. The same thing happened to Isaac when he appeared at the Shekhinah at the Akedah. The same thing happened to Abel, which caused his death. He appeared into the 70. And the same thing happened to the 4 that went into the Pardes. And Benaziah appeared at the Shekinah. What was he doing? They were going in to get the Gerim. Nadab and Avihu were Trey, Galgay, Sufa, the 2 branches of Adam. They died 2 deaths. We learned last week 1 death was on Sinai when they peered into the Shekinah. That was their 4D death. Their other death was in Akrimot when they went in with the incense. That was their physical death. We're going to learn something completely different about their physical death. Moshe says, this is all they read. Moshe says that they are greater than you and I, Aaron. Why? Because they come from the father Adam and we come from the son Abel. The Nadav and Avihu literally means, then the sons of my father he is. That's what their names really mean in the formula. They are the nephesh of Adam. And we are the contaminated part that was taken, stolen. Moshe was the one who did the tikkun for the matter. He turned away and did not look at the burning bush. So he received the Torah. Moshe is the Gilgal of Abel. And do you remember when Moses killed the Egyptian? We have the Egyptian, and we have Korach's rebellion, and we have Jethro. If you look here on the board, Cain, the Egyptian is the Nefesh, Korach is his Ruach, and Jethro is his Neshama. The Neshama is the highest holy part. That's why Jethro was extracted by Abel, who is the Gilgal of Moses, and brought him out. Those are the sons of Lilith. All right? So that's Adam. Adam is working on that side all the time, still is. All right? The Jews are working on that side all the time, still are. How? Mitzvah. The mitzvahs are working on that side. That's what the mitzvahs are for. They're for none other than drawing out the light that has been spilled out and contaminated that the other side has taken, that God basically allowed so that he could get over there, so he could create something new, to bring something completely new into something that already existed. Him. This is the secret of the Garrett. Now, outside in. Exactly. So, if we take the word Abel, in Hebrew it's Hevel. The Hay in Hevel is 5. So Moses received the 5 books of the Torah. The Bet and the Lamed in the name Hevel, the Bet is the first letter of the Torah, Breshit, and the Lamed is the last letter in Torah and it says Israel. The Lamed of Israel is the last letter. So this is why, because Moses did not look, he received the Torah in its entirety. Okay? So, now we're going to look, I don't know if y'all have this book, this is called the Shlah. It's called the Shlah. We'll see a little bit more here of what's going on. In the Shlah here in Parsha Shemini, it says, if y'all have this book, it's page 749. Regarding Nadav and Abihu. Their souls were so much exposed to the hidden fire of holiness that they died because they were too close to God. The sons of Aaron entered while intoxicated, took a look and died. Were they really drunk? No.
They had the secrets.
Okay. Hashem says, I will be sanctified through those who are close to me. What this means is that in their very death was their beginning of their life in the hereafter. They may therefore be perceived as having entered the Pardes and having emerged unscathed. Since their departure from earth occurred when they were publicly prepared to enter the most intimate relationship with God, it was done in the face of the people, and therefore I will be honored by it. Rabbi Akiva suffered the exact same fate when he died Kiddush Hashem in the martyr at the hands by the Romans. He sanctified God's name after having emerged from basically the Pardes, albeit sometimes later. When the angels demurred about the fate of Rabbi Akiva and the other 9 martyrs, that goes on. Nadav and Abihu acquired holiness of the body. Their souls were burned as they remained intact. Their departure from this world was just like that of Hanuk, Enoch, Metatron. They didn't die. Their souls became fire, just like when God turned Metatron into fire, Enoch into fire. They became Metatronic at that moment.
3D to 4D.
3D to 4D. Their souls became that fire because they had created the union of Zah and Nook to go in to get to 70. Their departure from this world was like Hanuk and the same as Elijah. This is why their bodies remained intact due to their death, due to their intimacy they've established with God, because they did not sin in their flesh. These guys were holy of holy. All right? So that gives a whole new twist on what they were doing. Same thing Adam did. Same thing Noah did. Because we have to ask the kasha. Noah's been on the ark for a year. God destroyed everything around him. The first thing he does is plants a vineyard, gets naked, gets drunk. Right?
Rock on.
Rock on, Noah. All right? And then Ham comes and castrates him. What was Noah doing? Going into the klipa of Ham, getting the Gerim. If it wasn't for these, and what do all of the Goyim in the world say? If it wasn't for Adam's sin, we wouldn't be in this situation. You see a 180-degree rule? If it wasn't for Noah, well, Noah couldn't have been a righteous man. He got drunk naked. If it wasn't for Noah, there wouldn't be any Goyim. If it wasn't for Moses, if it wasn't for Nadav and Abihu, I guarantee you, every preacher is going to preach Nadav and Abihu were sinners, and you don't go. You know what I'm saying?
Because they're on the backside.
180-degree rule. All right. Now we're going to go into a little bit of my book, because we have to learn about the serpent. We have to learn about the serpent. All right. Everybody hold on here. It's going to get deep. Now, in studying, once I knew what I was, now I know what I am, where I'm from, how I got there, what Adam tried to do, once I know what everybody's been trying to do for me, and I'm trying to learn how to get back, I have to go to the Talmud. Figure it out. Okay? And this is about Gering. Now they're going to use convert, but convert's fade in him. Ger Toshav, Ger Tzedek, doesn't matter. Just plain old Gerim is where we're headed. All right? So, in studying this, you have to have a korban. Korban is a sacrifice. Okay? You know? And you have to have circumcision. You have to have milah mikvah, which is rinsing, cleansing with water, and then you have to have korban. Okay, and then there's a word, and if we in Bar Midbar 15:15 it says, like y'all were at Sinai, so too for y'all, so too for the Gerim, right? But we already know that the Jew is different from the Gerim. We already established that. And what they do is they read it as one law. As for y'all, so too the Gerim. That's not what it says. What it says is one law for y'all and one law for the Gerim. That's two laws. Why? They're two different things. One is Kadush Israel is holy. These people ain't got any holiness at all. You can't use the same parameters. 99% of all Judaism will read that wrong. Because I've heard it for the last decade. Right?
Well, I think it's more like 99% of the Messianics will read it wrong.
Well, and Messianics will read it wrong too. But what that means is, well, here's what they're going to say. Because we had milah, mikvah, and korban, you got to have milah, mikvah, and korban. And we're okay with that. Problem is, who's brought a korban lately?
Right. Nobody.
And so the other day I was talking to a convert, and you know what he said? He said, oh, it's as if we brought one. I said, as if? We're going to use the Torah? I'm going to say as if? Christians say as if. Which part can I use as if when it applies to me? You know? Oh, it's as if I've had circumcision. Oh, it's as if I've had, a mikvah. It's as if I brought a korban too. That means, hell, I'm a Jew. You can't use as if. You got to do it. As if you did it. As if you did it. As if you really did it. Okay? So here's where it goes. I'm in Chrysos in the Talmud. Talmud here. You have the Talmud, go get Chrysos 8b2. We're going to start with the Mishnah. The Mishnah precedes a list of the situations that fall under the category of Mekruse Kapara. Mekruse Kapara is things that need atonement. That's what that means. 4 people are included in Mekruse Kapara. And there are 4 people who bring offerings for deliberate violations, just as they would for inadvertent violations. And these are the Mekruse Kapari, the Zav, the Zava, the woman who has given birth, and the Mitzorah. Now, my first kasha question is, what makes these 4 people so bad that they have to bring a korban for atonement or something for atonement? Why doesn't it say a murderer, an idolater, a thief, something bad? Because everything deals with yesod. Everything deals with union. The fall came from Adam's union. The fall came from Eve's union with the Nakash, with Sam, with Lilith, with the whole. It all was a union problem. So everything is designed around Yesod. So what these are is a male emission, a female emission, having a baby, and Mitzorah. Well, what's a Mitzorah? Which one of these is not like the other one? That one? That is a skin disease or a skin condition. So now I'm starting to see, okay, the skin is the ayin. There's your 70. You see it? Aleph to ayin. Ayin is gematria is 70, not gematria, but the ayin is 70. Wine is 70, soda is 70, the nations are 70. Mitzorah. So what happened? When Miriam complained about the union that Moses was having, or the lack thereof with Zipporah, what happened to her? She got Sara'at, leprosy. That's called Mitzorah. She complained about a zivug, a union, a yesod. You can't do that. He was in union with the Shekhinah. See? So I know now even Mitzorah is contained in Yesod. Miriam is a proof text. Then it goes on to say, and Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov adds 2 more people on the list. What? I thought we just needed 4. There was my Yud Hey Vav Hey right there. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says a convert too is Mexar Kapara. He may not eat Kadoshim. He may not eat holy food, temple food, until the blood offering is thrown. Okay? Till you do the sprinkling, the blood offering. And then it goes on. Oh, and a Nazir too. A Nazir is also Mexar Kapari with respect to drinking wine, cutting hair, and contacting with a corpse. So there's my drinking wine again. Cutting hair, well, that's on the side of Guvarot. And guess what? A corpse, a tuma is on the side of Guvarot. The tuma is an akash, death. So all of a sudden, I get into this, and I know I'm looking at conversion. I know Adam is thinking this, because Adam has to figure out, how did it get over there? Zav, Zara, having a baby, Mitzorah, and now it's contaminated. This is contaminated. We're going to call it spilled seed. How do I get it back in? God's got himself in a knot. Adam's got himself in a knot. So the reason it deals with everything with Yesod is because if it was a tzaddik, a righteous man that guards Yesod, is he going to murder? No. Is he going to thieve? No. You see? Adulterer? No. He's not going to do that. But what is going to happen is Zava, having a baby, and Mitzorah. You see? So now I know what Adam's thinking. So I know what the Mishnah says, but now I know what it's saying. So let's read what the Gemara answers. Because the Gemara is going to come in and going to answer and describe a little bit about what these things are. And then we're going to go into what I wrote for my book. And I'll show you how I resolve the whole thing. And you're going to see the garden thrown up in 4D color. Okay? I'm going to read this fast. Don't worry about it, because I'm going to go through and explain the whole thing. The Gemara begins a lengthy discussion in order to ask why Zav and Zav are listed separately, and why Metzorah and Metzoraz, a female, is listed as one. What is unique about Zav and Zava? Why are they listed as two of Mexori Kapara rather than one? presumably because the laws governing Tuma are distinct from the laws governing her Tuma. So there's a law for the man, Tuma is a law for the woman, Tuma. For a Zav does not contract Tuma through an external factor, as opposed to a Zava. A Zava does not contract Tuma through 3 discharges seen on the same day, as she would through 3 discharges seen on 3 different days, opposed to a Zav. I know it's confusing, but I will resolve it for everybody. It was taught in a brisa. The Torah states regarding the Zav, a man who will have discharge from his flesh, his discharge is tameh, impure. The verse teaches us that his discharge is tameh only if the flow is spontaneous from his flesh, but not if it's due to an external cause. The Gemara gives sources on the Zav and Zava. And he, the Zav, contracts Tuma through 3 discharges seen on the same day, just as through 3 discharges seen on 3 different days for the Zava. For it's taught in a brisa. The Torah made the Ziva male dependent on discharge, and the Ziva and the Zava the female dependent on days. Now, y'all ready? We got to go in the garden. Okay? What is Adam and Eve doing? Male and female doing? What is guarding Yesod? What is all these different things? What is the wine? What is the drinking? What is, all the things we've wrapped our mind around in the last few classes. What the heck is going on? The first one is male. The next 2 listed are female. Zava and having a baby, right? The last one is skin. Is there a pattern here? Are we talking Adam? Are we talking the fall? Why do we choose these people? And why do they have to go through this? This is me talking to myself. As we learn in the Torah, most things are in 4 parts. With the Yud He Vav He. But that's a topic for another day. The list is very calculated. But then they add 2 more. So now we have 6. What is 6, Russell?
Yesod.
Thank you. There's your formula. What are they revealing and what are they concealing? That's what I got to ask myself. What can't they do? What did we read that they couldn't do? They couldn't eat. Mm-hmm. Not only could they not eat, they couldn't eat holy food. Eating is knowing, and knowing is union, and holy is union, and there we go down that track. Follow me? Why did it have to bring in eating? Why didn't it say they can't pop firecrackers together? I mean, you see how the Torah is calculated. The Talmud is calculated on what it's teaching us. Eating is union, as is known. Why is the convert trying to eat holy food? Good caution. How did these get on the outside? What got these 4, 5, 6 people on the outside? Were they not on the inside? The first 4 are. Mm-hmm. They're talking about Kedusha Israel. The convert and the Nazir, that's outside anyway. We already know that. Miriam complained about Moses' union and got a skin disease. Mm-hmm. And she was put on the outside. These are our freaky friends. Yet are they fundamentally freaky? No. Fundamentally freaky is when you are on the outside. And we will see this as we move through the convert. The convert is fundamentally a freaky friend as opposed to the Jew. These other ones are just Jews that did something and now they got to go to the outside. Where did Moses put the Erev Ra? On the outside of the camp. You see, freaky friends. These may look freaky, but they can get rid of their freaky qualities. How did these that were on the inside get on the outside? Guess who else is on the outside? Ever heard of somebody called Mashiach? Now that we know now that we've kind of fleshed out, to be pun intended, the Mitzorah, let's look at what the Talmud says, Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin 98b3, for those of you that are taking notes. And the rabbis say, this is talking about Mashiach, that Mitzorah of the house of Rebbe is his name. Now, is that his real name? You know? Mitzorah of the house of Rebbe is his name. It is stated, look how the Christians twisted this. Isaiah, what do they bring as their proof text?
53.
Isaiah 53:4. Indeed, it was our disease that he bore, and our pains that he endured, whereas we considered him smitten, plagued, and smitten by God, and afflicted. Matzorah is his name. Rav Nachman said, if the Messiah is living among us, he is someone like me. It is stated, and their prince shall be one of their own, and the ruler shall emerge from their midst. Now, back to the garden. If Mashiach is 358 gematria, and Nakash, serpent, is 358, how did Nakash get to be 358? To the board, Batman. Nakash is a serpent. It's called a serpent. Nakash is an acronym. Nakash stands for Novlot Hokmah Shelma. Distilled supernal wisdom. What Nakash means is distilled supernal wisdom. So if you have one surface with two sides, this side is Mashiach and this side is Nakash. It's distilled. Mashiach is distilled supernal wisdom. Well, so is the Nakash. You see? Mm-hmm. So if the Nakash is pulling, is it not pushing Mashiach out the door? To the back, to out the side? If it's pulling the 70, if it's pulling if it's pulling something outside of Adam, every Mashiach has to come from the outside. Moses came from Egypt. Joseph had to go to Egypt. Come out of Egypt. Everything is coming out from the outside in. God has to bring. Does God know when Messiah is coming? No, he can't, because it's coming from the outside. If he knew, it would be over. But he had to create something outside of himself through distilled supernal wisdom, known as the Nakash. Now, Adam jumps in to get the Gerim. Is that not Mashiach? Now he's on the outside. Where's the Shekhinah? In exile? On the outside. So if Adam's in exile and the Shekhinah, the Jews are in exile, that's Adam, and the Shekhinah is in exile. Is that not Mashiach in exile? Outside? So if God takes and the Gerim and the nations are on the outside, so through his distilled supernal wisdom, he pulled it all out. And as soon as he brings it something outside of himself back to himself so he can see something new about himself, that's Mashiach. That's why every one of them went pearl diving for Gerim. Because when you pull out the Gerim, guess who and what comes with them? Mashiach. Mashiach. Why does nobody want to touch Gerim? Because it's too hot of a topic. You got to go into Lilith to get it. Nobody wants to go there. It's Aish Zara. Nobody wants to touch Ger Toshav. Nobody wants to touch Ger Tzedek. Nobody wants to dig in and find out what a convert really is. And the converts don't know what they are. They think they're a Jew. It's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than that. And we are part of it. You can't just take the cherry off the ice cream. You got to eat the whole thing and the cone. You see. So, all right. Back to my book. Mashiach is on the outside trying to get back in as well. He is called Matzorah, Sanhedrin 93b, footnote 37 through 40. Isaiah 53:4 says, indeed, which I read, afflicted by God, Matzorah. These four things have gotten on the outside of 4D. How? What puts them out of spirituality into physicality? It's the nefesh. So it's the nefesh that gets you on the outside. This is the secret of blood. This is the secret of the korban. This is the secret of sprinkling. And we read on. We find it in the Nazir. You see, Mashiach is compared to the Ger and is compared to Matzorah. So what do the Christians say? See, this is Jesus. He's on the outside, and he's trying to get them, and they're trying to get back to the inside. Well, why is that not true? Because the 70 were never on the inside. Only if your root is from the inside, Mashiach, that got pulled over there. The Gerim were created out there. You see, that was something outside of God. Mashiach is not. Mashiach is the inversion of the Nakash, which is the seal of supernal wisdom from the inside. How did it happen? We're going to find out. How far we got?
About 3 minutes.
Got about 3 minutes? All right, we'll start it and stop it. Because we'll go for a little bit longer unless y'all want to save this for another day. Now, the problem is you have to be on the inside first part. It never says that the Goyim ever followed any of the covenant, ever guarded the Brit, ever kept the commandments, which is the inside by definition, and they still reject the Torah and everything that comes with it. So because you reject the Old Testament now just proves you were never in it. Therefore, you can't possibly be a part of that. You have to be something else by definition. They still reject the three things, Milah, Mikvah, and Korban. They reject the Kahal, which is the house, Cohen, Levite, Jew, Ger. Jesus does, as well as Paul. They all reject it. They make the claim that they are on the inside, and the Ger and the Jew are on the outside. This is called the 180-degree rule. The Nazir in this piece is connected to the Guvarot, the side of evil. Drinking wine, cutting the hair, and tumah of a corpse. Berea, Yetzirah, Asiya. These are connected to the other side relative to the Hasidim. What is the difference between a Zav and a Zava? One is male and one is female. This means that the male nefesh and the female nefesh are fundamentally different. We can all agree on that. So too is the tuma, or the impurity. This is why you cannot be a transgender according to Torah. Because fundamentally, you are either a Zav or Zava because of your genitalia. You will either have emissions as a female or emissions as a male in your life. Therefore, based on that, on your genitalia, is what you are, because that's how you're judged when you bring a korban, when you bring atonement.
That don't ever change.
That don't ever change. But let's see what's happening with the change. We're going to find out. The secret.
Something popped over here.
Okay. And part 2. Ready? Now we're going? Part 2?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, this means you do not have a female nefesh if you are born a male. And you do not have a male nefesh if you are born a female. By definition. Because of your emission. That tells you what kind of soul you have. Because that's how you get atonement. Because you got to guard your soul. What do they want to do? Change their yesod, not guard their yesod. See? They're trying to get out of the loop. Now, the male discharge Zav does not contract Tuma through external forces as opposed to the Zava. The Zava does not contract Tuma through 3 discharges seen on the same day as you would through 3 discharges seen different days as opposed to the Zav. What does this mean? It means if you are emitting, not necessarily seed, but if you are emitting without an arousal, that's a Zav. A man goes through this, you know, just thinks about it and there's an emission. A woman does not operate like that. A woman has to be aroused, not a man. We're different. All right? So this is the emitting that's happening. Meaning that in a man that there was no thought, no erection involved, whereas a female does not discharge without arousal. We're fixing to get into stimulation from below, see. If she is thinking illicit thoughts, arousal takes place. Now she's like a guy, and the term for her is Zava. So the man, the feminine waters, the Mayim Nukvim, if it happens 3 days in a row, it shouldn't. You know, if she just has non-illicit emission 3 days in a row, that shouldn't happen. That makes her Zav. But it has to be 3 days in a row. A man, it has to be 3 in 1 day. So men are judged by the day, women are judged by the days. Okay? She may be working, paying bills, not thinking about a man at all, and if something happens, then this is the only time she would have to cleanse herself for that. Okay? For the man is dependent on the day. And it's for her dependent on days, is what that piece I just read meant. It may happen for a woman while running, jumping, biking, listening to loud music, or on a carnival ride These are external forces. This doesn't happen to a man. It can happen to a woman. So if a male or female becomes a leaky faucet, it can attract impurities. Sin is crouching at the door. This is feeding the other side. This, in women, it's phaedenim. It can be that, or what's the other leakage? Menstrual flow that goes on for a period of days. And then there's your freaky friend. Now it's got to be on the outside until it's atoned for. And mikvah, it can be mikvah or korban, because mikvah and korban are right there together. So she can do a mikvah and back in. No big deal. But during that time, the other side can attack. All right? Because it's based on your nefesh, your soul root. This also happens at birth. Okay? She's in labor for days, whatever. Her water breaks. That's why it brings Zava, having a baby, and Mitzorah. You see the progression that Torah is going here. Because what's happening? The Nakash and Lilith are drawing out of Adam. And the Sam is arousing Hava. They're having kids. And they're on the outside from Aleph to Ayin. Now they're skin. Now they're 70. Now we have the whole thing set up. That's why they bring these four. And what's on the outside? The convert and the Nazir. There's your Yesod. There's your 6. So, back to my book. Emission comes from Da'at, which is the secret of Nakash, the secret of Leviathan, the secret of the serpent. Knowing good and evil. Mixing. You're mixing the two. You are not guarded. A male would get Tuma walking into a female bathhouse immediately. Would not even have to touch anything. Whereas a woman may work in a male bathhouse and not. Doesn't, For her to be Tameh, it would be dependent upon days. For him, it's that day. Why? She's Phaedenim. She has blood and Mon. If he were to, if he has a flow for one day, it's a problem. And the Nakash knows this. If the external factors walk by her, it can break into her padlock. Why? Because the way men are today and the way women are today in the garden was reversed. Because the fall, because I'll give you an example. Gold is Guvarot in 3D. Gold is Guvarot, silver is Hasidim. But in Atzilut, gold is Chokmah and silver is Bina. Because it flips. When you fall down a level, it flips. So Eve was set up like a man. That desire. I mean, it was no problem, easy, ready to go. Where the man in the garden was like a woman is now. You had to woo him, so to speak. And because, why? She is from Adam's Teret HaYesod. She is his Teret HaYesod. And the Nakash knows it. Where do you attack the man? Every man is the same. Every man's organousic experience is the same. Every woman's different. Every woman has a different level, different time, different this, they're a map you got to follow. not a man. It's pretty cut and dry. The Nakash knows this because in the garden it's flipped. So, what happens? Where's Adam? What's he doing? Can he not protect it? Hava? They're making converts. What was Abraham and Sarah doing with the souls they made in Haran? You see? They're going into the 70. Because before the fall, all reality was reversed. She was like the man now. She was guvero, passion, desire, sexual magnet, ready to go at a moment's notice. The Nakash knew the secret of the female at that moment. He had the key and she had the door. So what was the curse? Her yesod was closed to prevent entry, and her desire was diminished. That was her curse. Every woman is now unique in her organelles, so the Zuhama, the poisonous injection from the Nakash, cannot enter again. This is the secret of the two Keruv that guard the entrance to the Gan. And the curse went to Adam. Every man has the organelles the same way. Each woman is different. Not a big wisdom regarding this in men. Now the male must guard his yesod for the sake of Eve, and he must woo the female for her sake. The role reversal. The Nakash now has a huge problem. He's male. And that instant desire of sexual gratification went to the male in 3D. So now, what do we see? Male to male. This is why homosexuality proliferates. Now, the Nakash has to go through the man. Why? The exchange or fall of sexual energy, which is pure light, has changed in the world of physicality. And homosexuality comes to its peak. You can get a man to think about sex anytime you want. Put on a football game, just add some cheerleaders. Show him a hamburger ad, just put a hot girl on there. Doesn't matter. Beer commercial, throw some girls on. It doesn't matter. This is how it works now. Imagine in the Gan when things were reversed. He had Eve, and then she had Adam. It was a no-win situation. The Nakash now has placed the Zuhama on Adam's Yesod. Now the man is constantly impure. He's a Zav. But after he emits, the thought and desire instantly leaves. The real impurity is when he wasn't thinking about it. But when was that? This is why the tzaddik is a special person. This is the secret of the tzaddik. The tzaddik guards Yesod and knows how to control da'at. The external forces, the klipa, now, since it's attached to his Yesod, ultimately cannot attach to her Malchut anymore. This was the fail-safe mechanism that God built into the worlds. Now the woman's tuma is secret and concealed and must happen in days, not one day. But if it does happen, she would never tell you. Yet in the Gan, Eve was vulnerable and the Nakash knew it. The goal of creation was to get Adam's Yesod like her Malchut was, because it was evident, it was obviously his. Bingo, mission complete. The sin, or the Hoteh, the fall, was to make his Yesod the live wire and close her up. This would make her a virgin in this world. When a girl is born now, she's a virgin. But it happened in the Gan. He closed her up. Says it plain as day. And after the surgery, and closed him up. The female was originally created with the ability to know herself. This is why Lilith can attach to both Eve, we know this as lesbianism, and to Adam, and we know this as strange fire, strange woman. The two aspects of Nakash literally knew them like a book. Adam was the original virgin in that they were both naked and not ashamed. Yet after Eve had contact with the Nakash, she knew what she was doing. She was experienced. Where was Adam?
Sleep.
Adam was asleep. And of course the Zohar and the Re break it down as he was outside the Gan. She's the Gan. He's outside the Gan. Therefore, the door is open for the Nakash. So she gave him the proverbial apple and he ate it. She knew exactly what she was doing. A virgin doesn't know anything. Eve, and after the fact, their eyes were open, knowing everything, right? Knowing good and evil. Only after the fact were the eyes open. Eve was taken from his Yesod. How could he have ever known that? He was put into a deep sleep. The age-old question, where was Adam? When the Nakash seduced Eve, he was asleep. He was outside the Gan. The Nakash knows this. So he attacks and attaches his Yesod. Now Adam must be a master of Yesod, and Eve is closed up in a virgin. What is the 180-degree rule? We got to make Mary the Virgin Mary.
You know also how they stopped this thing, and the whole reason for female genital mutilation, which is from the backside and from the Islamic type of.
Yep. So now we have the 180-degree rule once again, because that's how we know we're right. Mary's a virgin. Mary already had kids. Mary had Jesus, but she's still the Virgin Mary. Even after Jesus, she's still a Virgin Mary. You see, they've got to draw it. They can't not. So, all of the issues in the Talmud are dealing with a genitalia person. Even Miriam complained about a genitalia issue with Moses and contracted Sara'at or Mitzorah. The Nazir is the most naked creature of them all. Gets debased with wine, and this is exactly what happened to Noah. And Ham cut off his genitalia. The sages say, what causes a person who is just constantly lashon hara? The sexual perversion of sexual activity. Not guarding Yesod. Why are you on the outside? The genitalia is on the outside. This is the thing that's outside himself. So if Adam is the midot, if Adam is the sixth sphere, okay? So we have Abanima. So if Adam is the sixth, and Adam is put to sleep, which means his mohin is taken out. He takes his brain out, right? That's Hesed, Gevurah, Teferet. What's left? Netzach, Hod, Yesod. That's the only thing left. So the conversation in the garden is his Yesod and her Yesod. And we're going to call his Yesod, with him being brain dead, Nakash. It's distilled supernal wisdom. There's no brain in it. It's dead. Death. Now, what fell out of the Gan? What's in the world of Berea Sirisia? Adam Yesod. It's revealed in man and concealed in woman. It used to be just the opposite. So this is why none of the freaky friends can marry the Cohen. It's a genitalia issue. The same thing with the Zona. Remember the prostitute? Same thing with the Zona. Defiled genitalia. Same thing with the widow. Same thing with the Yavama. Same thing with the Shatuki. Same thing with the Asufim. Same thing with the Gibeonites. Same thing with all the freaky friends. With the freed Canaanite slave. All that's free. It's all genitalia issue. Because this is the issue of the God. This is Nakash 101. So the freaky friends is clean language for genitalia problems. This is why Torah says her feet descend to death. Feet is Netzach and Hod, which is exactly who Nadav and Avihu were, going back in. Pharaoh was said to be 2 amma tall, and his Yesod was 3 amma long. Now that's total code, and I went over that before, but you can get my drift on what's going on. Genitalia is the secret of creation as well as the mode of creation. Thus, it determines when one is in the kahal, the house. Which kahal? Cohen, Levite, Israel, Ger. Or which one you're based out of. So what is our 180-degree rule? Jesus is a virgin, wifeless God. The Virgin Mary and the priests are celibate. The nuns are celibate, which is stopping creation, which was the whole point of Hashem in the first place, was to be fruitful and multiply in creation. But because there's genitalia problems, they have issues. The sages thus say in the world to come that the tzaddik reclines with his crown in his head, which is the tikkun in reverse of the man generating Eve back into the At in the union of Adam, man. This is for never not ultimate bliss. This is the secret of 6-7. 6 days of creation, man. The 7th day Shabbat. Yesod to Malchut. Does the 6th day go into the 7th? Or does the 7th Shabbat come into the 6th? We bring Shabbat in. We don't go into Shabbat. Shabbat is something that's brought in.
You invite it in.
It's in, yeah. It's coming back in. Not 6 going into the 7th. It's just the opposite of what you may think. the entrance of the Shekhinah back inside, the Guvarot that's prolapsed outside, back inside the Hasidim. Then the Guvarot can excite and proliferate inside the Hasidim, and which nature is to expand anyway, causes the organoo's expansion of all reality for never not. So what does Hashem tell the woman? You will hate him, but you will crave him. The padlock needs to be undone because your root was in Eve. Her root was different. This is the secret passions of Solomon wrote about in Song of Songs, the garden story that is nothing more than the two Nahi talking. The Nakash is the Tuma that works on the genitalia. Why is this the code? How does God create something beyond himself that is not himself? Himself is perfect Yesod. So if God is perfect Yesod, he has to create imperfect Yesod to see something different about himself than he can't see. This is the Goyim, something outside of Israel, something foreign to himself. Then he must figure out how to get this something new of himself back inside, from the outside, back in him something self. Bringing the Gerim and the convert in. The Gerim is turning himself inside in, outside in. So there are the fail-safe barriers that he's listed that must be performed in order to bring this new created creature back in, thus fulfilling the thought of God of how to make something from nothing. Mila, Mikvah, Korban, three base bit, all these things. This is the secret of free choice. Just ask Pinchas. Do you bring some genitalia issue into the kahal, into the house of God? No, Pinchas kills you. He's the guardian of the purity of the kahal. So what is the Torah of Shem? When a woman has union with an idolater, her yesod is ruined. What ruins it? The foreskin, the nakash, the snakeskin. Thus the Kohen is protected. The kahal is protected. He must be protected. A woman is called a house, a kahal. Here is their secret. The Kohen is the one guy in the world who is most circumcised more than anyone. This is why converts are not permissible to be with the Kohen. But because the Jewish genitalia has changed. Thus the convert is changing in its genitalia. From Adam to Hava to the freaky friends, everything is changing genitalia. What does the backside do? They change their genitalia. Each Jew has a foreskin until the 8th day. Then they change their genitalia. And the Jewish girl grows and rejects the Goyim, her genitalia changes. Why is the entire world about genitalia change from Adam to Eve? Just look at the world around you. All the transgender stuff going on. We can see we're at the edge. If you don't get front side Torah change, you will be obsessed with backside Torah change and genitalia. What is the root of being gay? The desire to change the genitalia. Each time the act is committed, they act more gay. I've seen it. My brother was one. He started out a little gay. And then the more union he had, the gayer he got.
The more you sin, the more sin.
You see, because what happened? Their genitalia is changing. It's proven fact. This is the Garden of Eden. This only feeds the Nakash. This was his desire, his program, to create something opposite of the original. That's what God did. Why? With any creation comes waste material, and the waste material increases. This is the waste. Something so far removed, it takes a life of its own. This is called the Orla. Not the Ora, the Orla. From Aleph to Ayin. This is God's problem. He created it for himself. How does he fix it? Gerim is the fix. Mitzvahs are the fix. Noga, Kedusha of himself in the physical creation. As below, so above. So Malchut and Yesod are changing above only to unite. Therefore, it happens here as well. This is the androgyny of Adam. One is holy, the other one is Tameh, or Tuma. This is the secret of stimulation from below. This is the shedding of the snake skin, which is why there's two Messiahs. Messiah ben Joseph, which is Yesod, Messiah ben David, which is the Teret HaYesod, the two different genitalia. One suffering, one the other way. This is the secret of the wine of Mashiach. This is the wine they drank. This is the whole 70, the skin, the outer, the iron, and this is how God did it, how he made it, how he set it up and created it and allowed free choice. And since you got free choice on the outside, you can choose to come back on the inside or you can get cut off. Those are the options. Long class, I know. Torah's amazing. Sages are amazing. See you next week.